Alright, Chapter 5, Class 1 through 5, April 1st, 2007, Track Safety Standards Compliance Manual, FRA. Subpart B, roadbed. It's 213.31 scope. The subpart prescribes the minimum requirements for the roadbed areas immediately adjacent to the roadbed. 213.33, drainage. Each drainage or other water carrying facility under the immediately adjacent to the roadbed must be maintained with the kept free of obstruction, accommodated, accepted water flow for the area concerned. The guidance, one of the most essential elements of the track maintenance is the comprehensive drainage system. The drainage facility, bridges, trestles, and culverts shall be given carefully detailed consideration during the inspection, opening under the track and using the channel with the diverted water from the one side of the roadbed to the other. The rule specifies each of the drainage structures shall be maintained, but the inspector should be renounced with conditions that would affect the integrity of the structure, such as culvert and poles apart and the separation, crushing over the uneven settlement due to the failure of lackhead and head bolt walls. The conjunction of the frost action too steep with the gradient and insufficient support. Drainage openings must always be inspected, not given in with the debris and accumulated with such an extent for the water flow cannot be accommodated with the water. Most railroad drainage structures have been existed for many years and have properly maintained and kept the debris they considered adequately designed, accommodated accepted of the water flow, even though the recent high water marks may be slightly above the inlet opening. Culverts designed with the submerged inlets are common when questions are raised concerning adequacy of the drainage structure. The regional track specialist should be consulted with the inspector. Must take note of the conditions right away. The ditches, culverts, trestles, bridges, inlets, water carrying structures and passageways, outlet and tail ditches, berm ditches, scoring of embankments, piling or the piers of the channel with the abutments and filling with the passageway, silting and sand washing debris. Inspectors must notify the track owner with any of the drainage conditions deemed potential hazardous to satisfy the train operations over the track. 213.37 Vegetation railroad property which is immediately adjacent to the roadbed shall has been controlled then so that it does not have 37A become the fire hazard to carrying the track's structure. Guidance inspectors must be aware of the live and the dead growth of the drift, the tumbled weed, debris, and etc. Each constituted the fire hazard, the timber bridges, trestle, wooden blocks, culverts, and other track carrying structures. 37B, the obstructing visibility of the railroad sign signals, 1 along with the right of way, and 2 at a highway railway crossing. Guidance. The paragraph includes requirements for the clear of the vegetation of the signs and signals along with the railroad right-of-way, the highway railway crossings. Because of the scope of the part of the 213 limits vegetation requirement to the railway property, this is not intended to attempt to adjudicate the standards of the surrounding of the landowners. The paragraph also requires the signs and signals of the railroad property at the highway railway crossing be kept there. The vegetation is intended to properly adequately visibility of the device of the traveling public is not intended to preempt the state and local requirements for clearing the vegetation on the railroad right-of-ways at the highway railway grade crossings. Obstruction of visibility. The railroad sign signals of the vegetation is deviation from the track safety standards. Although the signs are important, the visibility of the certain sign signals must be closely observed. The block signal, interlocking signals, speed signs, and other signs affecting the movement of the trains cross clearance of the signs, whistle posts, and mile posts. 37C, the interfering with the railroad employees performing the normal track duty. The guidance judgment must be exercised in inspectors determining whether the trackside vegetation will interfere with the railroad employees' performance with the normal trackside duties. Weed covering the track that hinder the ability of an inspector to seek the track structure components that is not necessary for non-compliant conditions. 37D, preventing proper function of signal and communication lines. Or guidance. Before sighting the railroad vegetation interfering with the signal and the communication line, the inspector must confirm that the line is active. Occasionally, the inspector may observe the vegetation in the lines that are ensured if they are functional. Communication between the track inspector of the FRA signal with the train contractor, the inspector is necessary. The railroad representative cannot confirm the status of the signal communication line when interfering with the active line. The vegetation may cause the false signal indications or disrupt the communications that are vital to the safe train operations. When there are questions regarding the vegetation signal train lines and the joint specific inspection track and signal personnel occurs, the track inspector will issue the violation reports if necessary with the concurrence of the signal inspector. 37E, the preventing the railroads with the visibility, with visually inspecting the moving of the equipment from the normal duty station. There are several ways the vegetation can prevent the railroad employees from visually inspecting the moving equipment. For example, the vegetation is striking in the window of the locomotive cab that can interfere with the train's crew ability to serve the rolling stock, or if the vegetation is striking the train that can interfere with the ground employees' ability to observe the rolling stock during switching operations. Subpart C, track geometry.